One of the central themes of the Foundation TV show is mortality, and our various attempts to avoid it or delay it. Some innovative and inspired, but some of dubious origin and even downright evil. In this video, I'll discuss some of the methods used and reasons put forward by characters on the Foundation TV show to do as the poet advised, to rage against the dying of the light. So what better place to start than with the Cleons, emperors for over 600 years, who sought to make time stand still through cloning. Right away, this method might seem unsatisfactory. Cleon I himself acknowledged that in Season 1. His clones would live on, but he himself would not. So he's saying he's more than just a physical body. Presumably the body is what gets cloned. So what's happening with the Cleons is reproductive cloning, different from so-called therapeutic cloning, which isn't really therapeutic. The process of therapeutic cloning would involve harvesting stem cells from cloned embryos, which would result in destruction of the embryos while they're in the test tube. Now, some people say, well, the embryo would have died anyway because cell division during human development is so complicated and it would have died. Indeed. So there's no difference between reproductive cloning and therapeutic cloning where human beings are concerned. And thankfully, both types of human cloning are universally outlawed in our world. But not on the TV show, although the cloned emperors are viewed as a horror by many throughout the galaxy. The Cleons are constantly forced to prove themselves to the public. Innovative people like Hari Seldon speak out against the genetic dynasty, asserting that ending it would delay the empire's decline and fall. The Luminist religion questioned at one point whether the cloned emperors had souls and thought they were less than human. The cult in the Mycogen sector during Cleon 24's inauspicious visit questioned whether the emperor was just a half-man because of his clone origins. Although Cleon I sought to live beyond his own life by cloning himself over and over, his great dream is viewed as an abject failure by most people. Next method, nanites. Now these are healing properties injected into the bloodstream which give the Cleons immunity from disease and instant healing from surface wounds. The nanites can be transferred to a terminally ill person to heal them, but the nanites aren't available to all sick people. And in Season 3, for the first time, we learn about supplemental nanites, which Cleon 23 uses to maintain his figure, his muscle tone. And he had a purpose for doing so. After he executes the Lady Demerzel and all remaining clones within his reach, he ended the genetic dynasty, and that's when we realized he plans to live at least 1,000 more years. Now that's the stretch of time predicted by Hari Seldon, a time of chaos and barbarism which is predicted to follow the fall of the Galactic Empire and to precede the rise of a new empire, the First and Second Foundations. But before the Foundations are established as the next empire, the interim period will be an era of darkness, as foretold by Hari Seldon, and which seems to be aptly named for Brother Darkness, Cleon 23, last of his name. Next method, cryosleep. Gail Dornick and Hari Seldon have used this method at various times. Gail has extended her life by about 148 years. For both Gail and Hari, they feel justified because of what they do for humanity. But for which members of humanity? The Seldon plan and Gail's actions have caused millions of deaths, although in their judgment, the right people are being saved. Their people, the First and Second Foundations. We learned in Season 3 that Demerzel destroyed the Star Bridge to save the life of one man, Hari Seldon, when he was on trial for sedition. She destroyed the Star Bridge to create a diversion resulting in the deaths of 100 million people, just to save one guy who, presumably would stave off 30,000 years of chaos and barbarism, yes. However, it's still an us versus them decision, the decision of a ruler who has the power to decide who lives and who dies. So, with cryosleep, most of the galaxy probably would consider that method of extending life and the purposes behind it an abject failure. Next method, transferring one's consciousness into someone else's body. Tellum Bond, one of the big Mentalic villains from Season 2, had used this method to live for centuries. So Tellum locates her individual personhood in her mind, will, and probably her memories. The body seems to be the least important in her calculation of who she is, but maybe only because she can leap into someone else's body and take it over at will. She considers the body to be a vessel. When it wears out, she finds a new one. As for the consciousness of the person who already inhabits that body, Tellum says she can still hear that person, but the voice grows fainter over time, like a voice speaking from the bottom of a well. In season 2, she tried to take over Gale's body and said, "I'll always listen for you, Gale," which is so reassuring. Who knows why Gale was so opposed to it. Now, Tellum says that with each transfer of her consciousness, she grows stronger and more capable. Her powers are really scary in season 2. In my view, a key difference between Tellum and season 3's Beta, the mule, is that Tellum doesn't want to take over the galaxy. She just wants to live forever, in the manner that she was doing it, hopping from body to body. We might see that later from Beta because there's no dispute she could do it. But a key factor is Tellum grew up being worshipped as a god in her first body that she was born in. She doesn't seem to have developed personal attachments, and that's not the case with Beta. Relationships and being loved are very important to Beta. So her journey as a villain probably will be different from Tellum Bond's. Next method. Hari Seldon died in season 1, but he preserved his consciousness in AI programs. He edited one of those programs, which now lives in the vault. That AI guides the First Foundation. A second AI of Hari was given a new body by Callie. We don't know how, but the new body was free from disease. Now, the original Hari was dying from a degenerative brain disease. He arranged to be euthanized, but made it look like murder so that he wouldn't tarnish his legacy as the supreme intellect. What a selfish thing to do. But he obtained a new body after languishing as an AI program for 138 years, trapped inside the Prime Radiant. But he was let out by Callie and lived in a new body for 148 years, during which he built the Second Foundation. At that point, Callie reappeared, and he asked her for more life, yet another body. But Callie said no, so he chose to die, although not in the traditional sense. Callie even told him, "You could die here, on the planet Ignis. It would be grace to die here," she told him. But he refused and went into a portal with Callie, going into another dimension maybe, or maybe it's a portal to the moon. Big shout out and thanks to the viewer who thought it looked like the moon. Now, in the season 3 finale, we're shown robots, including a woman who looks like Callie, living on the moon. So maybe now Hari has a new robot body on the moon. Now, theoretically, the AIs of Hari could live on indefinitely. And they want to live, and they want to live in a body. The AI of Hari that lives in the vault, for example, wants a body like the other Hari who built the Second Foundation. But these AIs, are they the real Hari Seldon? The Bible tells us, "It is appointed to a man once to die, and afterwards the judgment." So my view on this is I don't think that the AIs are the original Hari Seldon any more than the cloned emperors are the first Cleon, which isn't to say they're better or worse, just different. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.